Hey friends, it's Laura with Laura's Handmade Haven. Welcome back. I'm so glad you joined me today. We're continuing our Christmas in July series, and today I have such a cute craft for you. I'm so excited about this. It's very versatile, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to use up some of those little orphan blocks and those little projects that never quite got done to turn them into a cute little gift, quick and easy, and someone is going to be so thrilled to receive it. So before I tell you what we're making, I'm going to show you a couple products we're going to be using, and we're going to head to the pressing mat to do our first step for the first project. As you can tell, I have quite the mess going on here, but I will promise you it's going to be so worth it. I have pre-cut some of the Siser EasyWeed heat transfer vinyl out with my Cricut Maker 3, and I made this little design, and I have it share. You can go and get this in Design Studio if you want to use the same design for this little project or other projects. Feel free to use it. The link is in the description box down below. But I wanted to show this part because those of you who have not done much heat transfer vinyl, and even better, those of you who have but may not have used the Siser EasyWeed, I want you to see how easy this is. I'm holding this in my hand, you guys, and I'm just using one of the little weeding tools, and it just comes right off. It is such a nice product. So if you are a Cricut person and you have only used Cricut vinyl or vinyl that you got from one of the big box stores, I would encourage you to use Siser EasyWeed because it is by far the best that I've found. So next part is we're just going to put our heat transfer vinyl onto this piece of fabric. I am going to be using a Teflon sheet over this just because I want to make sure that I have something between my iron and the fabric and the plastic from the heat transfer vinyl, just because, you know, this is my iron that I use for quilting, so I want to take good care of it. Now, if you have the Cricut Easy Press, use it. If you have a heat press machine, use it. But this project is so small, I just wanted to use my iron. I am kind of counting in my head to about 20. When I get to that point, then I'll lift off the iron and we'll rip off our transfer plastic and we will move on to making our project. And this is another reason I love the EasyWeed. Look at this. It just comes right off, you guys. There's no tugging, pulling, cursing. It just comes right off. All right, so you might be wondering, what are we making? Well, we are making the cutest darn ornaments you've ever seen in your life. You guys, look at this, and it's this quick. So I had my little heat transfer vinyl set up, and now I need to screw this little ring down a little bit. I am using the Kimberbell 3.5-inch rings, but you can definitely find these same little hoops on Amazon for a lot less money, so do that. And now when I have my fabric in there aligned the way I want it, I'm just going to screw this down tight. Now I do have my glue gun set up over here because we're going to use a glue gun. We're not going to be doing any sewing today. Well, you can, I guess, with one of the projects I show you, but not this one. Now I'm just going to run the hot glue in around this ring, just right around the inside of the ring, as carefully as possible, but obviously I didn't do a very good job of that. And then we're just going to bend this fabric in. We're not done, don't worry. It's going to look better once we're finished. Now I have several of these rings sitting here because I'm going to put a few layers of batting in there just to make it a little, I don't know, puffy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use this inner ring here. I'm going to draw a circle with a marker. And I have 3 layers of cotton batting here in case anyone cares. This is just some scrap batting left over from a project. All right, now I'm going to put the first layer of batting in here, and I put a little bit of glue. And this is just to hold the layers of batting together. Now the last thing we're gonna do is I have some self-adhesive felt. So I'm going to take one of the larger rings when it's closed. And I'm going to draw around it very carefully because we don't want to get this black on our ring because we want to use it for another ornament, right? And you could definitely use a pencil instead of a marker. I'm using a marker just because I want to show up on camera for you guys. I would probably use a pencil if I was not on camera. And now we're going to cut this out. And this is just a peel and stick. So we are just going to peel and stick to finish the back of our ornament. Now, if you got a little big somewhere or whatever, you can trim it off with your scissors. And honestly, this felt, you can kind of smush it a little bit with your fingers a little bit to kind of move it better into place around on the ring. So if it is just a little bit overhung, you can probably squish it back. Now all we need to do is add a little ribbon hanger here and we have a cute 2025 ornament. Quick and easy, right? All right, so this is with just a piece of fabric, a little bit of heat transfer vinyl, a few layers of batting, and some self-adhesive felt. But let me show you what else you could do. Let's say you're like me, and you thought that it would be a great idea to do the 3-inch blocks, and then you were like, whoa, I don't want to do 3-inch blocks. That is crazy. Who in their right mind would do 3-inch blocks? So if you have some of those laying around, you may need to add some borders on the sides of them like I did here. See how I added a border around, and I just added with the same background fabric that I used in the middle. But you can do the same thing with an orphan quilt block. So again, we'll just center it in the ring as best as we can. No one is going to, I know if it's like majorly off, they might question it. But if it's just a little bit off, they're not going to care that it's not perfectly centered. Now this one I am going to trim off some of this excess fabric just because there's a lot of it. I just sewed a 2.5-inch strip onto the outside of that block. So yeah. All right. And again, we're just going to run the glue inside, right on the inside of that ring. And then fold our fabric down. This one will also get the 3 layers of batting and the felt backing before I'm finished with it, but for right now, this is all it is going to get. Just for sake of time here. All right, okay, so there's my star. All right, so next up, how many of us have some cross-stitch pieces that we have done nothing with? They're just laying in a drawer, laying in the closet, laying somewhere, and you don't know what you're gonna do with them, and it's kind of sad, right? Well, I have a bunch of the Stitching with the Housewives seed packets, and they are in that boat. So what I decided to do is, I don't know if these are gonna be Christmas ornaments, or they're just gonna be like, ornaments for whenever, right? But check this out. The seed packets fit perfectly in these 3.5-inch rings, and you can twist it down and you can trim off the excess fabric and glue it into place and add the batting and the felt backing, and you have a finished cross-stitch piece. But this would also make a super cute, super fun, super easy gift. I mean, come on, let's admit that we definitely have things lying around that we're best of intentions. We were going to do something with them, and now they're just laying in a drawer and they're not doing anything. So why not get them out, use them for some quick Christmas gift ideas, and mark someone off the list. And again, just folding this in, hot gluing it into place. And that will also get the 3 layers of batting and the felt backing before I'm done with it. But for right now, this is what we have. All right, and last but not least, since I brought up cross stitch, let me put these somewhere where you can kind of gaze upon their beauty while we're working on this last one. So I brought up cross stitch. How many of us also have some cute little cross stitch pieces that may or may not ever be finished? But look at this. If I just take this, I could totally put him in this little ring. I could just center it however I wanted him to look in there. And this would be so, so cute, right? So I am going to do that with this one as well. And I think I want his little hand with his little holding the snowball up there. That doesn't work, but this one does. And it's got a little bit of the border, but that's okay. Or I could just center it right here too. Maybe that's what I'll do. Yeah, I'll center it right there. All right, so let's loosen this ring. On cross-stitch fabric, I found that you definitely have to loosen the ring quite a bit, honestly. And then let's move it up just a smidge. And then look at this. We framed our little snowman into an ornament ring, and it's so cute. And I know, I did lots of stitches on other parts of this little snowman, but you know what? He's not doing anybody any good laying in the drawer being sad. So we might as well do something with him. And if you're not going to do anything with it, do something with it. All right? Okay, so I know some of you are out there screaming right now, but guess what? It was my cross-stitch piece, and this is what we're doing. I think that finished is better than laying in a drawer, being sad, wondering if anyone is ever going to care enough to do anything with you, right? Maybe I'm projecting a little bit. I don't know. I'm teasing. I have a great husband, great family. And they deserve cross-stitch pieces. All right. So now, same thing with this one. I'll put the 3 layers of batting in there and the felt backing, and they will be super cute. And again, just thread a ribbon through the little hanger here, and you have a finished little Christmas ornament. Now, could you put some heat transfer vinyl on this? Absolutely. Or you could stitch 2025 in there if you want. I like dated ornaments, but I don't know. Not everybody does. Anyway, so that's my cute, quick, little crafty Christmas in July. Let me get these finished up, and then we'll do a wrap up. All right, so for a wrap up, I'm just going to show you how I'm basically threading this ribbon through the little hoops. So basically, just take a length of ribbon, fold it in half, and this just goes right through there. Grab that. Take your tails through, pull that tight, and then you're just simply going to tie a knot in the other end. Now, you could get fancy, and you could tie little ribbons, little bows, and all kinds of fun little things on here, and you could add more than one ribbon, but this does the job, right? Okay, so again, we're just gonna take the ornament, take the length of ribbon, and you can, feed the tails through if you don't wanna feed the loop through, I guess. You can go both ways, woohoo! Pull that down tight, do basically an overhand knot, and ta-da, ornament. Now, I'm not gonna try to tell you that I got these done lickety-split because obviously there was some cross stitch involved, so that took some time, right? And I did make the little star. It's a little wonky star, but I made the star. And that took a little bit of time. And this cross stitch piece obviously took a little bit of time, but these 2 cross stitch pieces were just laying in the drawer, not doing anything. And now they're ornaments or little home decor items that I can give for gifts or hang up in my own home. And then again, if you want to do something like this is heat transfer vinyl. I do have it linked down below, the Cricut Design Space file that you can use. Feel free to use that. And also I have Amazon links down below for the Siser EasyWeed heat transfer vinyl, and also the 3.5-inch hoops. Now, it doesn't have to be a 3.5-inch hoop. If you have 4-inch hoops, if you have 2-inch hoops, 2 would be small. But whatever you got, whatever you can find at a decent price, This is your idea. Run with it. Run with it. How many cute Christmas ornaments can you make this year? Or maybe you want some home dec objects, or I don't know what you're going to make with them, but let me know. Leave me a comment down below and tell me what you would put in your little hoop and who you would give them to and what you would do with them. You could also put photos in here, you guys. So, you know, just keep those in mind. Fun, cute idea. Until next time, find joy in all you do. Carve out some time for crafting and creating. And remember, it's always better when you make stuff up.